Our first business is approved reimbursement resolution concerning a loan to pay for approved capital improvements. Leanna?
Okay, so back when you adopted the current fiscal year budget, I presented a capital improvement plan to you. The majority of that capital improvement plan, the big majority, was for items that are going to be covered under the American Rescue Plan Act or proceeds from the health department. So obviously the health department grant has to be all water. ARPA funds can be used for primarily water and sewer, and the police cars were also included in the capital improvement that can be covered under ARPA. So there were a few items that leaves that you approved, but we don't have funding to cover those items. And those are primarily for building repairs, to town hall, the police department, and the library. So town hall, for right now, we are looking at patching the columns out front, repainting all of that, fixing the guttering, because we have hidden guttering and it's kind of fallen down in places. The front of the police department, if you've ever been up really close, it's pretty rotted out. So that's going to replace the whole wooden front of that and paint it. And then the library is going to get handicap accessible doors, so they can press the button, the doors will automatically open. If we have money left over after those things are done, then we are looking to paint some inside the building. The inside of this building hasn't been painted since we became a town in 2001. So 20 years, it's getting a little rough in spots, so we need a little bit of help here. The second item is a public works truck, and that is primarily to be used on streets and cemeteries, so it can't be covered under the water and sewer money. So those are the total of the $100,000. What a reimbursement resolution does is it allows you to proceed with the projects and then try to get a loan to cover them. Well, we can get a loan. I've already had talks with a couple banks already. The reimbursement resolution allows you to go back 60 days and cover it from the time of this resolution. So if we've already started things as of July 1, which we haven't quite yet, it'll give us some leeway to get some items, try to get some bids, get things going, and then we can reimburse ourselves when the loan proceeds come through. So that's what the resolution is. It just allows us to reimburse ourselves, basically. I'd be glad to read the whole thing if you'd like.
No. I just read it.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It basically says we're going to do our bonds will be tax exempt. It'll come as part of our bond package. The proceeds will not exceed the $100,000, and they are set forth in here in Exhibit A as just what I said, the building repairs and the public works truck. And this just has to be adopted by council to allow us to, like I said, reimburse ourselves.
That's just a regular pickup? Or?
Yes, yes.
This painting include the clock?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry, yes, it does. It includes the clock and the top of the clock. It's kind of really faded out. And all that has already been approved by the Architectural Review Board.
Okay.
We're going to paint it the exact same colors that it's currently, but they've already approved that.
And the mechanisms of the clock that make it function, how often are those checked?
So what you really see on the clock is not, the mechanism is really about this big.
Yes.
The control panel, it's electronic, and the control panel is in the closet back here in the hallway. And it's all done electronic, and they check those every 6 months. Usually around the time changes to make sure it'll align itself back up. But to think there's like a big mechanism within that clock tower itself, there's not.
So you're talking about painting, we paint the columns, anything that has the same color as the columns is going
The
to be
columns
painted.
are going to be painted and patched because they're really cracking off. If you look at them, they're really starting to delaminate down there. So primarily the columns, a little bit of trim work at the bottom, but the columns, the clock tower, the roof, and the police department's going to be a real big part of that just because it is so rotted out. If you go inside the police department and look at the door, you can see daylight all around the bottom where it's rusted out. So it'll just give it a much better appearance.
And this is going on, all the painting is going on for bid, right?
Yes.
And when's that going to take place?
So the painter we have talked to that's given us the best price is looking at a mid-August start date. He's got quite a bit of work lined up, and he actually has painted Clifton Tower recently. So if you look at that building, he did a really good job on that. But with the facade grant that we have going on downtown, he's getting a lot of interest in painting of a lot of different businesses. So we got our name in the pipeline early.
Good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Questions? If not, I'll hear a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Vice Mayor Umstead,
Yes.
Councilman Wolf,
Yes.
Councilman Burdette,
Yes.
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
Yes.
Mayor Irvin.
Yes.